So inside your magnetic mind, there are two maps, and identity shifting is really a process of updating your maps. So we have the first map, and this is the map of your past self, which represents your current self-identity. This is how you currently see yourself. And this map is a reflection of your inner thoughts, your feelings, your mental images that you have related to your past experiences. And it's also a map of the standards that you currently uphold and the standards that you currently live by. And then you also have your second map, and this is your future map, or what I like to call your elevated self-image. Now, this map represents a glowing, vibrant future vision and version of yourself and the path that you desire to walk. And this elevated map, it updates as you set new goals, you dream bigger, you create a new vision for your future. It is really your internal vision board movie. Now, the images that you hold in these internal maps, they significantly affect your level of magnetism because life is a frequency game, baby. And simply put, you're not going to make your future dreams a reality if you're not working towards them energetically on a frequency level. So you're not going to become the version of yourself on your vision board if you don't take aligned action, if you don't visualize this future version of you, if you don't make a plan, if you don't aim at something. So you need to start updating your maps and moving towards your goals by working with both of these internal reference points. Now, what I want you to understand is when the gap between your current self-image, the first map, and your elevated self-image is really wide, when these two pictures are completely different, if you were to overlay them, they would just be a scribbled mess. This is when you are going to feel a strong sense of misalignment and disconnection. This is when you're going to feel like everything is just so far away and I'm just never going to get there. Again, let me explain this with a metaphor. I'm going to read from my debut book, Magnetic. Attempting to attract what you want and becoming the person you desire while holding on to a limiting self-concept is like using ancient maps in a modern-day city. Your modern-day GPS is going to run into roadblock after roadblock. If you feel like an imposter, lost, or in danger, it's because your internal map has not caught up with the person you are today. As soon as you update your internal map, you redefine your limits and you unlock your true potential. This is why identity shifting is so powerful. To become your elevated future self, you must make a daily commitment to updating your inner map, closing the gap between your current self and your elevated self. Now, I want to give you an example of this. My current self-image that I am living right now, the version of me that I am talking on this podcast, is actually the elevated self-image that I held in my mind less than a year ago. And that all happened. I became my elevated self through shifting my identity. Last year, I was holding this vision of becoming a published author with a giant, amazing publisher, Penguin. I had this vision of myself where I was completely just running my retreats company remotely. I was no longer living in Bali. I was planning to spend my summer months in Europe. I was focusing on my app. I was stepping into the version of me that was speaking on stages and holding bigger spaces and doing these incredible events and being a keynote speaker. And all of that is happening now. That isn't just a vision that I have in my head. Like, that's my reality. But that didn't happen by accident. It wasn't like, oh, someone just gave this to me. I held the vision. I created that identity. I started shifting into that new version of me. And today I'm going to give you 6 steps that you can use to start shifting into the elevated version of you. Now, before we dive into the 6 steps, I do want to let you know that this podcast is really, really inspired by a program that I have actually created. And it's a program on my app, and it is my identity shifting program. This is a program to help you shift from who you are currently to who you desire to be. I released that identity shifting program in January 2024, and I was writing it back in 2023. And when I was creating this identity shifting program, I was doing all the steps. Like, this is all of the things that I was envisioning for myself and my future. And it's wild to me because everything that I was envisioning, like the version of me that I had in my head, this elevated self-image that I was creating for myself in this identity shifting program, is who I am now. And I am a testament to this program, this methodology, this work. It works, right? If you keep showing up, if you take the daily actions to step in to the vibration, the frequency, and the energy of the future version of you, you will become that person. It is cause and effect in play. So today, inspired by that journey on the app, I want to give you practical steps so you can start making some moves. Step number 1. Stop focusing on what you're creating in 2025 and start focusing on what you're shedding. We are in the year of the snake, baby. It is time to shed. It is time to let go. It is time to rebirth yourself. You're not who you were in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, or even 2024. So stop carrying that old version of you. Release it. Be willing to go through a death and rebirth. Like your next identity, it might literally require the death of your current identity. And that is something sacred. That is something powerful to experience. So be willing to let things die, let people go, shed it, and know that the best is truly yet to come. Step number 2 is to get clear on your current identity blueprint. You need to know what the current map is that you are working with. Because look, awareness is truly the first step to any transformation. But often we don't take the time to actually get clear and see where we currently are and actually take the time to think about where do we genuinely want to go. So to make this easy and actionable for you, I have created a free downloadable for this episode. And I really encourage you to go down to the description, click on the link, put your email in, and I will send it straight to you. This is a whole bunch of questions that I personally use that I move through every single time I'm going through an identity shift, every time I want to update my maps. I really take the time to journal and be with myself, not to go do it on Instagram and look for inspiration and go on YouTube and look at what everyone else is doing. No, shut down all of the apps, all of the outside influences, and go within yourself in your own time and create space to actually think about where it is that you want to go. And honestly, be honest with yourself about where you're currently at. That is also such a huge thing. I think so many people try and shift their identity and make changes without being genuinely real about where am I currently? Where am I misaligned? What am I doing that isn't in alignment with the version of me that I want to become? That radical honesty is going to get you so far. So again, down in the description box, get your dose of self-awareness. Really allow yourself the time and the support. Get that downloadable, and I know it's really going to help you out. Step number 3 is to commit to your shift. So are you actually truly saying yes to your own transformation? And if you are, how are you actually committing? What's your follow-through like? Do you have any skin in the game? I want to give you a practical example of this. As soon as I came to Australia, I knew I needed to shift my identity to become a more healthy, stronger version of myself. That is part of my new identity. I am definitely someone that dabbles a little bit with exercise. I travel so much. I'm always on the go, and it's something that I'm not super consistent with. So as soon as I got to Australia, I knew that I needed to make a commitment and I needed to get skin in the game. You see, it's really easy to say, yeah, I'm thinking about starting this YouTube channel, or I'm thinking about starting this podcast, or there's this business that I really want to do. And you keep talking about it, and you've talked about it so much that it feels like you're actually doing it, right? Because when you talk about stuff and you tell everyone about it, you start getting this feeling like, oh yeah, I'm making moves, I'm doing things, I've got a vision. But are you actually doing anything about it, or are you just talking about it? I was doing this with health and fitness. I was saying to Sol, yeah, I'm going to start strength training and I'm going to start being consistent with my workouts. And yeah, I'm going to clean up my diet a little bit because I can tell that I'm really not fueling my body right. And I was talking about it for weeks. I was talking about it while I was in the UK. I was talking about it while I was in Amsterdam. And when I got to Australia, I had to be real with myself. I need to stop talking about this and I need to do something about it. So as soon as I got to Sydney, I booked myself an 8-week, no ability to cancel Pilates membership. It's at a beautiful premium studio in Bondi. I'm paying for it every week, regardless if I go to Pilates and I get my ass kicked at this Pilates studio or not, I'm paying for it. So for me, that is, I have skin in the game. I have committed to this thing. I have started a subscription. I've done the same with coaches in the past, or programs or apps or anything that can help support me in going from where I am right now to where I want to be. I get skin in the game, because just saying I want to do things is one thing. Actually putting my money and my time and my energy where my mouth is, that's a completely other different story. This also works great if you get yourself an accountability buddy, if you start doing something with someone else at the same time. You need to get skin in the game. If you have been saying you're going to do something and you've been putting it off, and it's like your big goal, your big dream for this year, and you are not following through, get skin in the game. Stop talking about it. Stop putting your money where your mouth is, or stop putting your time or your commitment and actually showing up for the thing, and have something to lose. I really do think from a psychological level, if you know you're losing something, whether it's money, time, or even just I think also just like the respect of someone else. If you have a friend that is a real stickler for time and they're scheduled and they're busy, and you just say that you're going to do something and you don't start showing up, like that person's going to change their opinion of you. I don't want to judge people, but I don't love flaky people. When someone says they're going to do something in my life and they don't do it, it drives me nuts. I just can't stand that, because my time is valuable. So I am someone that really gets skin in the game. And if I want to elevate something, if I want to become a different version of myself, what I do is I commit to people, or I tell people that will judge me and have an opinion of me if I don't follow through, because I don't want to be seen as flaky. I want to be seen as someone that's reliable, that follows through. And this used to be like a big weakness for me. I'm not coming for you if you're someone that's flaky, that's like all over the place. I get it. I used to be you, and I have systems and people in place and a new standard in myself. So I am not this type of person anymore. But just committing to yourself, putting skin in the game, so valuable. Also, on that note, talking about putting skin in the game, I have been booking all of my Pilates classes a week in advance, and I've been putting them in my calendar, and I've missed around 2 or 3. And every single time I miss one, I get charged. And it's a little note to myself like, oh, there's just money going out for no good reason because you didn't show up. You didn't keep to your standard. And that's been really good for me, because I'm like, oh gosh, I'm definitely not going to miss next week, because I know I've made that commitment and I know I'm going to get charged a late fee. So get some skin in the game. It really does help from a psychological level, and it can be the fire under your ass to really make that shift happen. Step number 4 is to elevate your standards. Now, look, this is such a powerful step, and I actually dedicated an entire day to it in my identity shifting journey inside the app. Now, raising your standards changes your whole entire energetic baseline. It is a core fundamental part of shifting your identity. And I am just going to play you this audio from the journey because I said it best there. Today, I want to start by sharing this quote by Tony Robbins, which states, "Anytime you sincerely want to make a change, the first thing you must do is raise your standards." Why is that? Well, as Tony Robbins also wisely points out, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. My friend, standards matter, because in life, we truly do get what we accept. Standards are like these invisible contracts that we have with ourselves that determine the level of treatment and the quality of energy that we believe we are worthy of receiving. Most of your standards are embedded in your subconscious mind, and they aren't things that you consciously think about, but they influence every single area of your life. You have a standard for the type of treatment you're willing to accept from others, a standard for how you talk about yourself and how you don't talk about yourself. You also have a standard for the type of environment you create for yourself, standards for the way you present yourself to other people, a standard for the way that you dress, standards for your health and your well-being, and standards for how clean your house is or how unclean you're willing to let it get. Everything you do and everything that you receive and accept has a standard. Now, shifting into a new identity will require you to reevaluate and elevate your standards so that they align with the energy of your evolving self. Take relationships, for example. If your new identity is someone that values committed, romantic, and loving connections, then your standards in romance become pivotal. Maybe the new you really values romance in relationships, which means that you have a new standard set for the kind of treatment that you're willing to accept and reject. Would the new you continue dating someone if they didn't take the lead, if they made no plans, if they showed little interest in you? No, probably not. You wouldn't, because that doesn't align with the standards that you've set for this new identity. On the other hand, as the new you, would you continue dating someone who makes an effort to book that place for dinner that you mentioned that you wanted to try, and maybe surprises you with flowers on your birthday? Absolutely, because this aligns with your value on romance and your new standard. Here's another example. Let's say that the new you is a lot healthier and fitter than the old you. Just like any identity shift, this change will require you to raise your standards in your health. The old you might have had a standard where half a bottle of wine and pizza and takeout, maybe like 3 times a week, was no issue and it didn't really matter. Now, the new you, who is healthier, fitter, and living a more balanced and holistic lifestyle, the new you would limit pizza and wine to maybe just 1 night a week. And rather than pizza and wine being something that you do at home by yourself, maybe your pizza and wine night has turned into a social night with friends after your brand new Sunday run club. During the week, the new you sticks to healthy, wholesome, home-cooked meals, and you ditch the booze. Do you see what I mean here? Our standards are self-made. It's how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, and what we accept as worthy in our lives. Now, reflecting on these examples, I want you to ask yourself, and be really honest here. Where in your life have you had a standard that is not up to the caliber of the identity that you are currently shifting into? What level of treatment are you accepting that the future you would reject? Raising your standards will look different depending on the goals and the results that your new identity is aiming to match. And today's episode is to reflect on your own standards with the help of some journaling prompts. But before I give you those, here are 3 fundamental mind shifts to help you with your standards in all areas of your life. Tip number 1, raise your self-worth. You need to stop looking at self-worth or enoughness as something that the world reflects to you. You are the one that sets the worth and standards for your life. No one gives us our worth and no one gives us our standards. These are things that we create in our minds and that we accept and reject. Choose to see your new identity as someone who has high self-worth, simply by deciding you're worthy of more. Tip number 2, start saying no to anything that's not a match to the future version of you. We hear so much about saying yes to life, but have you ever thought about how powerful it is to start saying no? As I always like to say, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. Tip number 3 is to communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Your standards are one of the ways you communicate what you believe you are worth, and they require you to take action. If you're not happy with something, then say something. Don't be silent. If you want more, then say you want more. If you want to lift your standards, communicate that through your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, all of your being. You need to tell the universe you are wanting and worthy of more. So don't be afraid to communicate your standards through taking action and speaking your truth. Now for the journaling prompts. Reflect on your own standards using these 3 prompts that you will also find in the description for today's journey. Journaling prompt number 1. What standard am I currently accepting as my current identity that is not a match for the new me? Prompt 2. What would a higher, more aligned standard look like in this area? And how could I define this standard? Journaling prompt number 3. What do I need to do to communicate this standard to others? Or what changes do I need to make in myself to raise my standard? Look, raising your standards is one of the most powerful ways to align with a life that you desire. And if you want to amplify all the positive changes you're making, don't miss your affirmation track today, which you'll find in the audio down below. Look, as you delve deeper into your own standards, I really want you to remember these 3 fundamental mind shifts from today. Mindset shift number 1 was to raise your self-worth by realizing that you are the one that sets your worth and your standards. 2 was to learn the power of saying no to things that do not align with the future version of yourself. And 3, communicate your standards through your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, both to yourself and to the universe. And always remember, you have the power to flip the script in your life and step into the identity that you have been dreaming of. It requires you to embrace change, challenge the familiar, and redefine your standards. Because, in the words of Tony Robbins, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. Step number 5. And step number 5 is to tap into the frequency of your elevated future self. So look, your identity shift, it's going to require action, but transformation is also a frequency game. What is the energy and the vibration of your elevated future self? How would others describe your elevated future self? How are you radiating that energy now? For example, I used to carry very frantic energy, and maybe right now you think I'm talking frantically, but I'm just like pumped up, I'm excited, but I am someone that used to be rushing all the time. I was easily thrown off. I was a very chaotic person. I was someone that would be a bit of a bumble, right? And I'm definitely working on my coordination. I don't know what it is about me, but it's something that I think some people get the coordination program downloaded as kids. I seem to be missing that piece of hardware. I'm the kind of person who would drop plates and whatnot, but I've gotten so much better at that. And I've always been working through this. And recently I really have been anchoring in this new frequency of I'm not the frantic person anymore. I'm someone who is slower. I'm grounded. I'm whole. I'm unfazed. I'm a relaxed woman. And to embody that version of me, I needed to change my frequency. I needed to change the energy that I was showing up with every single day. And it requires me to be a more prepared person, to be more intentional with things, to be more deliberate about how I move through the world. This is a frequency thing. It's a very subtle change in my energy. And although I still have that go-getter, fast, fiery energy about me, throughout my day when I'm just in my own energy, doing my own thing, I'm moving slower. I'm moving more relaxed. I'm in this era of not rushing and really preparing myself energetically so I don't have to get in a rush. And I feel like most people don't even take the time to really think about how they would like someone else to describe their energy. So I have this as an action step for you today. How would you like someone to energetically describe you? What kind of feeling words, what kind of descriptive words do you want people to use when they describe you to other people? And how can you start embodying those words? How can you be the embodiment of that energy in the now? And what standards, what changes, what shifts do you need to make to start showing up in that frequency? And when you start doing that, when you start changing things on such a tiny energetic level, that's when you're going to start to really feel into that frequency of your elevated future self. That's when you're going to feel that complete shift in energy. And when you start feeling it, everyone else is going to start feeling it as well, because that's when you're radiating it from the inside out. It's not you just trying to be this person or show up as this person by putting on a costume. No. You are the method actor. You are the full embodiment of it in your inner world. And when your inner world shifts, that's when your outer reality starts to transform as well, because everything is a mirror. Step number 6 is to believe in your abundance and start moving to a frequency of abundance. Start living with an abundant mindset. When it comes to any identity shift, I think one of the things that just kind of trips so many people up is that they're living in lack. They're living in this competition mindset. They're feeling like there isn't enough to go around, and they're comparing themselves to other people that they feel are elevated, that they would like to be like. And then they start squishing themselves down because they make someone else, right? I see this happen a lot. Someone will make their elevated future self identity map really just a carbon copy of this other person that they feel like is really cool and that they're really jealous of and that has their dream life. And then they're comparing their current map, right? The version of them that they are right now to this other person. It's that classic thing. Don't compare your day 1 to someone else's day 100. And so many people do that and they feel this massive distance from where they are to that other person. And then what they start doing is they start feeling jealousy and comparison, and then they'll start feeling like they're in competition with this person, like it's a race. This is a scarcity mindset. This is when you haven't yet adopted the energy and the frequency and the mindset and the complete belief that another person's life, another person's success, baby, it doesn't take away from your own. You can be whatever it is that you desire to be. There is room for you. There is room for all of us. We are not in the same lane. You are not in the same lane as anybody else. You are one of one. No one else could be like the fully elevated, actualized version of you, because that's you. That's your essence. So you comparing yourself to someone else, it's like you are a special spice. If you were to look at a spice rack, you're like cinnamon. I hope you like cinnamon. I fucking love cinnamon. You are cinnamon, and you have this like beautiful warmth and spice and like, this to you. And then someone else, you're looking at someone else and they are basil. And you're like, I really want to be basil. Maybe I need to use a better herb. Wait, I need to think. Is basil sexy? Do we like basil? I can't think of another herb that I like as much as cinnamon. Ooh, I know. Someone else's sugar. You're looking at someone else and you're comparing yourself to sugar. And here's the thing, cinnamon is never going to be sugar. Sugar has its benefits. Yeah, it sweetens things. But cinnamon, it's a whole other level, right? This is what people do. And they try and be like sugar when they're cinnamon. Be yourself. Be your own unique essence, right? Stop being in this scarcity game like you have to be this other version of yourself or you have to be this other person. It doesn't work like that. So to make this practical and to give you a download with some more action steps, I'm going to play another little audio from my identity shifting challenge to really dive into this scarcity versus abundance mindset and why this is so important to be aware of and to be really healing when you are going through an identity shift. Because when you are trying to shift your identity while you're also in an energy of scarcity, you are just slowing down your progress. You are just taking a way detour to getting to where it is that you desire to go. Because when you start working with the energy and the frequency of abundance, that's when things move so much faster for you and for everyone else in your life. Because you start moving from a place of lack and limitations, and instead you start operating from a place of abundance, possibilities, and just limitless potential. And let me tell you, that is an amazing place to be. Today, I want to invite you to embrace a powerful belief as you step into your upgraded self. It's a belief that will guide you from perceiving a world of scarcity to uncovering a realm of abundance. Now, the belief is abundance is unlimited, and if someone else can have it, so can you. Let me say that again. Abundance is unlimited, and if someone else can have it, so can you. Now, this belief has been a personal game changer for me and for countless of my manifestation students, because it addresses a common pitfall in manifestation, which is the tendency to criticize, condemn, and compare ourselves to others who seem to have what it is that we desire. I'm sure you can relate to this experience. You come across someone online who is living the life that you aspire to have. You hit follow and you watch all their content, and initially, it's inspiring. But over time, envy and comparison might sneak in, and you might start to feel triggered about that person. If you feel this way, I want to let you know that you're not alone. These emotions are totally normal and part of the human experience, and they can actually serve as a guiding light, showing us the untapped potential within ourselves if we choose to follow a similar path. Jealousy and comparison, while natural, they can become problematic when we get stuck in them, as they lead us to operate from a mindset of scarcity. Seeing other people live your dream life can be a pretty tough pill to swallow, but it's also a chance to have a powerful shift in perspective. Here's the revelation. When you see someone else living your dream life, it's not proof of scarcity. Instead, it's a sign that your desires are not only possible for you, but they are within reach. The universe mirrors back to you what you desire and what you feel and see in your inner world. And when you see others that have what it is that you want, it's undeniable proof that your desires are right in front of you. Think of those who trigger you as catalysts, showing you what you're capable of, challenging you to transform envy into admiration, jealousy into celebration, and lack into abundance. These people are not put in front of you by the universe to try and torment you. They're there to reveal to you what is on the horizon, to show you how it's achievable, and to illustrate what life can look like when you consistently embody your chosen identity. Knowing all of this, your challenge for today is to pick one person who you've been criticizing or someone that you've been comparing yourself to and start to celebrate them moving forward. Think about it. Who is the person who has what it is that you want? And how can you see them as your biggest abundance activator to expand you and push you forward? Choose someone who embodies the identity that you're shifting into and become their biggest cheerleader. Imagine how they navigate their life, their successes, and the abundance that they enjoy, and visualize yourself rooting for them. Now, when you do this, over time, start to watch and see how the universe responds to your total shift in energy. As you become a source of celebration, you'll notice the ripple effect that it'll have in your life. Remember, what you cultivate in your inner world is precisely what reflects in your outer world. It is so important to remember that you won't attract for yourself something that you criticize and condemn. Why would the universe try and help you become something that you hate or that you're sending negative energy to? Instead, what you energetically celebrate is what you will draw into your life. So, become the kind of person you want to be by celebrating other people's energy, their life, their successes, the abundance that they have. Show the universe that that's what you're a match for, and that's what you will receive. So there you have it. Those are 6 action steps to help to guide you to start your own identity shift. And if you want to make a commitment to shifting your identity, if you want help, accountability, support, if you want more action steps to keep you focused on that second map, that map of your elevated future self, then I have written a whole entire journey inside of my app. It has mini podcasts just like what you have heard here today, every single day for 28 days, as well as action steps every single day. So every single day there is an action step. There is rather a meditation, a reprogramming track, a visualization, affirmations, all of these different tools and techniques that are going to help you be in the frequency of your elevated future self. And I want to remind you that shifting from this current version of you that is made up from this past version of you to this elevated future version of you, it requires a continual commitment to becoming the future version of yourself. And it is all about the choices that you make every single day. It is about continuing to show up, to act, to embody that future version of you on a day-to-day basis. And honestly, that is why I made this journey for you. That is why I wrote it now a year ago, because I was on the journey of moving into a massive identity shift. I was letting go of my old life and creating my new life. And I wanted to record this episode today because I feel like I'm exactly in that same place again. I'm actually going to be doing the identity shifting journey myself in April because it is my last month in Australia, because I really just want to step into the energy of the person I'm becoming. I want to connect with her every single day, and I want to continue to show up as who I'm becoming and not just stay in this place that I am right now, because what I've created is beautiful, but I know that there is a whole entire elevated version of me that is in the works. I just need to connect with her. And for you, you just need to connect with her as well, or him. Like you just have to make a choice to have a conversation, to have a connection with this version of you. It's honestly just like an energetic connection with the frequency of the person you're becoming. I really like to think of identity shifting as just having a call with your future self every single day. And I actually have a whole entire exercise on calling your future self inside the identity shifting journey, because for me, that's what it is. It's having a conversation with this version of you that you're becoming so you can stay connected to them, so you can close that gap and you can start to know them intimately. So yeah, that is it from me today. I have all the links. That freebie that I mentioned is down below in the description box. I also have a link to the app down below in the description box if you wanted to start that journey with me. But regardless, I'm sending you so much love. I'm cheering you on always. I desire nothing than for you to be healthy, wealthy, abundant, and free. I want to help you make it happen because you deserve the life of your dreams. So go out there, make some magic. Remember, you create your own reality, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.